What's going on? We're back here with Wii Sports, our 100% journey. Last episode was super messy, and I suspect it will not be the last of that kind of episode where, like, I have to record it in chunks because it's just so damn difficult. Especially with all these golf. I'm just dreading all the golfing ones now. I actually think, now that we've improved a fair bit with the putting, I mean, I basically had to memorize all those holes. I didn't really get good at the putting. Well, I got better at the putting. I did get better at the putting. But I was also swapping Wiimotes like mad, and I'm all inconsistent with it. There's gonna be more episodes like that, where I try and get a platinum, and then it takes like 3 days, and then I end up recording it in the dead of night, all quietly and everything. That's just what an athlete must do. But because I'm dreading the golfing ones, let's try the baseball one. Hitting home runs. Watch the ball try to hit it at the park. Timing is everything. We've hit a few home runs so far. This is certainly not the majority of the time, but if it's just me sitting here swinging this thing over and over again, it won't be too bad. Don't worry, I already played the baseball. I know how it works. Swing. Oh, you can press minus to skip that. I didn't know. Cool. So I see that we have a number of balls there. That was a foul, I guess, but it did go pretty far. Was that 10 balls they have there? So we just have to hit as many of these 10 as possible. Is that the idea? And I guess a home platinum maybe will be all 10. Because, I mean, that wasn't that bad. Okay, there's one. Right, okay, so I've got a bunch of fouls so far, but I've got one. It seems like maybe hitting 10 in a row isn't all that bad, and it won't take too long. Let's just see how we get on here. But this might be something I can't be too loud for. I just have to kind of hush up. Oh, that landed inside the diamond, did it? Because it is all about, like, strict timing, and I kind of have to focus a bit for that. Let me just give it a few tries, and we'll see. As per usual, we'll give it a few tries, see how what medal I'm scoring at generally, and then we'll see if that is anywhere close to the platinum I need. So that'll be a home run for sure, right? Yeah, that got to the top crowd. Neat. Almost right out of the park. Yeah. I'm certainly hitting a lot of these into the right side. Does that mean I'm hitting... That would mean I'm hitting too late, right? If it works the same way as the tennis, which I kind of assume it does. So 2 doesn't probably get you much. Oh, maybe the total distance. Oh no, it'll be like you need to get all 10 runs and have a high distance, will it? Oh, I hope not. So I'll just give it 2 homers. I'll just give it a few more tries quietly here. See what I can manage before I know what I'm aiming for. Oh, we have a different coach this time, or, pitcher. And they're launching slightly different types. Starting one off with 1, that's a good sign. 528 feet, jeepers. Actually, the way they're throwing it now makes it a lot easier to get. I feel like the mechanics of this are a little different than in the normal game. It didn't even swing! Oh, it disconnected at that time. I just felt it reconnect. That was weird. Hopefully that doesn't ruin our definitely platinum-worthy run we're getting. Actually, this is pretty good. Ah, damn. I had to say it. Nevertheless, though, 5 ought to be at least a bronze. Okay, at least I didn't hit it too late that time. That's what I keep doing. 5's got to be at least a bronze, right? I have to hope / imagine.
You earned
okay.
a bronze medal.
Good. We were doing pretty well. They were getting about 500 feet on those first 5 that I did, actually. Not counting the one that I... well, the first 4, really. Not counting the one where the controller shut off. So the different pitchers pitch differently. I better just start restarting every time I miss one. Getting 10 in a row doesn't sound too hard. We've only given it like 4 or 5 tries, and I've already gotten 3 in a row. So let's go for 10 in a row and see if maybe... because it records your distance, I'm assuming that's also a part of it. Man, I hope we get the person who was throwing those like fastballs or whatever earlier. That was really nice. I love this music. Why is there an entire crowd just watching us practice anyway? Bugger. Let's start by just shooting for 8. If I get 2 mistakes, I'll restart. I'm not doing a great job of perceiving the depth here, but not horrible either. I feel like she hits them farther in this training one than she does in the actual game. Like she has a slightly greater capacity to hit them a great distance. Okay, so that was 8, and that was about, therefore, 4,000 feet, would it be? So what does that get us? A gold or a silver? Silver.
Silver medal.
Cool, so I'll keep trying, and I'll probably hit 10 one of these times. It's probably like 10 is a gold, 10 with 6,000 feet, or 10 with like 8,000 feet or something is a... No, I guess it would be... Probably 5,000 is more reasonable, because then you'd be getting at least 500 feet each time. My guess is platinum is 10 home runs with 5,500 feet, and I'm going to work towards that. But I've been erring on the side of being too late most of these times, so I'm going to try and pick it up a bit.
Time out.
Time out! Everyone calm down. This is the only one where it screams time out when you pause, isn't it? Come on, Luca. Give me your best throw. Hiya! We're all on good terms off the pitch. I swear, no matter how bloodthirsty things get on the pitch. I'm on a first name basis with all of them. Like this one is named Blanche, I'm pretty sure. Or Gwen or something. Oh, that's the first time that's happened.
Time out.
It's not the first time that's happened. Did I say we were having better luck with just swinging it one-handed? Like I said, I don't mind doing a bit of the sports roleplay, but I care much more about actually winning the game. I'm assuming anything less than 500 feet is kind of not good. So I think it's kind of a matter of how hard I'm swinging, as in addition to my timing. I'll be really nervous if they wanted us to get like 6,000 feet or something. Once again, this is another one I'm fond of because, whoops, sorry, I accidentally unlocked this one here. This is another one I like because it goes by pretty quickly. It's not like you have to wait, and it doesn't really get harder as it goes on. It's just 10 of the same thing in a row to make sure you've got it right. So it's not too hard once you've worked out the first ball throw to work out how to get the others, because it's just making sure you're consistent, basically, and good with the timing. Hey, that's good. Why was it less feet than one of the ones that was in the park? That was like 600 feet earlier. Anyway, I like that it's not like one of those things that slowly ramps up and then gets like a little bit harder each time, but you have to keep doing the easy stuff over and over again. I like that it's the same difficulty throughout and just making sure you can do it multiple times in a row. I'm doing something pretty well here. Be ashamed to mess this one up. That might not actually be a home run. It's a bit low. Sure it was. All right, I'm halfway there. There's a non-zero chance of a 10 here. Oof, that was close. That might be out of the park. Pretty high. Not quite. All right, come on, just don't mess up this last one. I want to see. This is a gold medal. Well, it'll certainly be. Oh no, please tell me that counts as in. Oh, good. Cool. How was that? How does that count for? Was that good? Murphy? That sounds like a platinum music. No, it was gold. So what is the requirement for a platinum? I think it's probably a good time to search. It's probably just have to be like 5,500 feet. That was my initial guess. I'll be mad if it was 5,400. But hey, we got that pretty quick in 13 minutes. So I think this might be another one of those platinums we get in one episode quite easily. It is 10 home runs with 5,650 feet. So we were pretty close. That is tough, but it's quite far from impossible. We got this in 13 minutes. I'll just keep my head down and give it a few more tries. I would like nothing more than for this to be a really nice short episode. Disconnected again. I might grab the blue one again if this keeps up. The thing is, because the blue one does actually have the motion plus in it, it's a bit of a different beast controlling with it anyway. So it takes some calibration up here to swap controllers to that one, but it's probably ultimately better for everyone but the boxing, I suppose. I didn't really hit that too hard. Actually, 577 is not bad. Let me give it a few tries with this just because I don't want it disconnecting in the middle. So 5,650, we need an average of 565 each time. Certainly possible. Your name's Eliza, right? No, wait, Eliza's the one who's good at tennis. That's not you. Elizabeth? I know their names, sure I do. We're all great friends off the pitch. That's Matt. It may also be a matter of like restarting until you get the pitcher who does the throw you like. Because Matt's throwing pretty gentle such that it's not too hard to get a good score, it seems. So it may be like worth just continuing restarting until you get the same one so you can be consistent about it. I'm going to just try and keep restarting until I get Matt this time and for the next few times. You're not Matt. Again, it's one of those things where if you wanted to actually make sure you got good at it, what would be smart would be to get used to all their pitching styles, but in the interest of getting the platinum, it may be worth restarting to get Matt. Actually, there are like 10 things it can show up as. It's probably not really worth reloading over and over again to get the one you want. That sounds like it'll take a long time. I guess they're throwing slower pitches than they do in the actual game. Maybe that's part of it. part of why we're able to get it so much farther. I'm glad it wasn't like 6,000 they wanted, and they wanted to get like a 600 each time. That would have been horrific. This feels a lot more, this feels like a very reasonable thing they're asking for here. Although it's just still a little nuts that it doesn't really tell you what score they want. They just want you to do it over and over if you didn't have the internet. If I were emulating, I could turn on stereoscopic 3D mode, and maybe it would help me have any idea how close these balls are to me. Oh, I guess, is there a shadow on this one I could use as well? Maybe. Oh yeah, there is a shadow. So if they're expecting with this thing with 2, then in theory if you swing it with 1, you're swinging it faster than they're expecting, so it'll give you more power? And cheating, yay? Maybe? I'm not sure. Whereas the problem that I'm not swinging up enough. I need to like hold it down and then like swing it up in an upward arc. Maybe that's the idea. Nah, I don't think that was better. I was to go back to what I was doing before. 2 hands, focusing on the ball, not the shadow. Moving a lot faster than tennis though, so I have a lot less of a concept of whether I'm going too late or too early. With the tennis, like I developed I got pretty good at being able to tell. Actually, is it because I'm doing too much wind-up? Is it easier if I just give it a little flick like that, or does that not have enough power? So I didn't do a full body swing at all. That was pretty light. And yet it was 534. So actually, maybe this isn't really measuring your power at all. And so I should mostly be just focusing on trying to time it right. Because I'm like barely swinging now and getting like 550. So I'll just try and give it a gentle little tap here. Because that's, even though this would give it more power, it doesn't seem to actually care about how much power you give it. Where I think the tennis one maybe did a bit. And the golf certainly does. This one is much more about your timing, it would seem. Sorry again for rocking back and forth. I get restless when I'm standing in the same place doing the same thing. I think I said that in part 9, in a part you didn't get to see. I have a tendency to overanalyze these minigames though, and really I should probably just keep going and feel it out as much as possible. But man, the gap between getting a gold and getting a platinum, kind of like the golf one, is pretty far on this one. It feels like silver should have been 10 home runs, and then gold should have been like home run with 5,000, and then platinum home run with 5,650 or something like that. Because to go from just get 10 to get 10 that are like at least 565 feet on average, it's a pretty far leap. And I'm also not 100% confident that I know what's making me go farther or less far each time. If the power at which I hit it doesn't seem to matter too much. I seem to be able to space it better. Whether or not it's technically easier, I seem to have an easier time with it when I'm using both hands for this exercise in particular. And yet still less distance than some of the ones that were counted as just home run but in the park. I don't really get how one that's out of the park could be less far. Unless it's totaling it differently and it just doesn't show us that it's actually counting as like 700 or something. Damn it! That could have actually been pretty good. Don't think it would have been platinum worthy. Actually, it would have brought us up about the same thing, wouldn't it? If it was 500 about, it would bring us to like 5,350. Yeah, never mind. Wasn't as better as I thought it was. As better. Wasn't better by as much, I suppose, is how you would actually say that in the language that is purportedly my native tongue. My baseball just has baseball written on it. Sorry, my baseball bat.
Time out.
Me choking on the last one as usual. For one reason or another, I seem to have the best luck at getting a higher score if it's not at the center, not at the side, but just like it's somewhere in the middle of the sides. Like that's basically that point right there that I'm aiming at. I usually get the best score if it ends right there. 544 is not bad. There or that same part on the other side. Like one bleacher over from the screen, basically. But if it's going this part, usually a little better, right? 570. Of course, choked on the last one. Who could have seen that coming? Anyone else's arms hurt? Not me. I'm feeling good. So that was 4907, so like if I'm saying 600 is the max score, it isn't, but it's about as good as you can get. That would have brought me up to 5,500. Getting there. This needs a little refinement and perseverance and all. I've been trying to completely ignore the score and the number that are left these past few times in the hopes that maybe that will make me less nervy about it. Because I won't know if I'm doing well. A bit like I felt at the end of the golf one. I feel like this is the platinum score they ask you to get is like, feels just a little titch unreasonable. Like I was kind of, this is kind of what I ended up with the putting one. It's like getting all 10 with no mistakes feels a bit cruel considering, like again, there's a degree of precision that's being asked for that's kind of hard for this device to attain. is how it feels to me. Such that it feels like you should be allowed one or two iffy runs and one or two mistakes on the putting one. Like, I feel like the bar could have been lowered for the Platinums just a little bit. 5,500 feet feels right for this, personally. Getting to the end with one or two mistakes feels like this is how the putting one should have been for me, personally. They just feel like, considering the limitations of this thing, it feels like what they're asking for is a bit strenuous. But it's not too far over the line of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, plausibility, I suppose. I just feel like I'm gonna have to get lucky, which is a bad feeling. But still, this and the putting one I don't think are nearly as frustrating as the dodging one by a long shot. Oh, does it get stuck on the screen if you go to the center? Is that why center is bad?
Time out.
It kind of feels like that. Like, it looked like it hit the screen and then just fell down.
Time out.
Sorry, spaced out there. God, it's not a big bright thing. It's just a very subtle little shadow. So it doesn't excite my brain, and I start like losing focus, and I don't even know when it's showing up. It's kind of hard to see actually. Is there? Maybe I can like turn the contrast up on my monitor or something. Contrast at max. Let's see if that helps. Oh, that's hard to look at. Oh yeah, the shadow's a lot easier to see though. This could help.
Time out.
At least they let you start over before it goes to the next ball, unlike the putting. But it still does make you wait a moment after you've hit the ball before it lets you pause. Which is a bit annoying. Clearly they just didn't think anyone would take this many tries to get the platinum. As far as Wii Sports training exercises go, of the ones we've seen so far, this is still a pretty fun one, but my main issue is I don't really have a concept of what I'm doing differently to make it go 600 versus 530, which is a pretty big margin. Like, sometimes I feel like I kind of get why one went 430. Like, the next swing I do. Silka? Is that your name? Maybe that's it. That feels like a 550 to me. It was way higher, it was a 600. That feels like a 430 to me. It was. That feels like a 480 to me. Thereabouts. That feels like a 580 to me. That was 100 off. That could be even like a 570. Still hovering around 500. Like, I don't really have a good sense of what it is I'm doing that makes some of them go far. Like, that looks like it's going pretty far. I don't think I did much different than I did for that one that was 430. So I've done what to me feels like the same thing, gotten a score it's 80 different. So that's the trick there. And now I'm getting these higher ones a bit more consistently, and I don't really get it. Because my thinking is, well, what makes sense is that it's at which point on the bat it hits. So if it hits the tip, no, I guess that could be it. That's probably it. But then, of course, you're also worrying about at what point in the swing you hit it, because it's like the tennis where if you hit it late, you're sending it that way. If you hit it early, you're sending it that way. I don't know. I can't tell what I'm doing worse or better to earn a worse or better score each time is my point. So basically, I'm just going to do it over and over and over again until I get it right over a few times in a row is what I guess I'm getting at. And I take issue with the fact that sometimes being out of the park can give you a lower score than getting it in the park. It feels like out of the park should give you like a flat 600 or something like that. It's like it stops measuring it at the point at which it leaves the park, which is kind of silly because it's going farther than that. Oh, I suppose there's some aspect of it that's controlled by how fast they throw, right? Which is random. So maybe it's random how far, like the potential of your swing. Like maybe it's impossible to get 600 feet when they throw one that's like 70 miles per hour, you know what I mean? So there might be a partial luck element in that as well.
Time out.
I don't know for a fact, one way or the other.
Time out.
I kind of wish it would give you some kind of feedback whatsoever on if you should have hit it later or earlier to get a better score. I guess there are a lot of variables in play there that it would be sort of hard to measure that and tell you what you did wrong. Because there's the type of ball it was, the speed at which it was moving, where you actually, at what point in the curve you actually hit it. So it would be hard for them to just like sum it up briefly as in like hit it later or hit it earlier, I guess. But I get the sense that when I get the platinum, I'm not going to feel like I know what I did. That was kind of like what chiefly kept me going through the putting one for so long, was it's pretty clear what you did wrong. And it's easy to just immediately correct on the next go through.
It's out of the park.
There was a really horrible one in the middle there. Man, those last two were fast, 83 miles an hour. 3 out of the parks altogether, though. That could have been great. If it was that 430 that ruined me, I'll be mad.
You beat the high score.
400. Oh yeah, that 430. If it had been a 530, it would have been it. That one god awful swing in there ruined me. Oh, that sucks. The rest of that was pretty great. This spot right beside the sign on my left here seems to be that where I just planted it. That seems to be like my sweet spot. As often as possible, if I can put it there, seems to be the best. I think because it tends to end up on that side because I tend to swing early. I'm predisposed towards not going too late because I'm more nervous about that, I guess I am, than going too early. Less than 400, oh that's horrible. Is that the first time we've got a run that was less than 400? I think so. Maybe the pitches do get a little faster as it goes on, but it doesn't feel like it's a drastic, like a too far cry from the rest of it. They seem to always start around the high 60s. What would be kind of nice is if it would just, if there was a mode you could turn on where it didn't stop after 10, it was an infinite number of balls, but if you happened to get 10 in a row that were 5,650, it stopped and gave you the platinum then. Because that's all I really have to do. So in theory, it would be if I could just get into get into a flow and just hit like 300 in a row. Probably 10 of those somewhere in there would have the score I want. And it wouldn't be all this messing around with the restart menu and then waiting for it to load and then waiting for it to fade in and then waiting for the A button to appear and then hitting the A and then it goes begin and then you start again. You know, it feels like a lot of rigmarole to go through every time when all they care about is what's the best I can get with 10 in a row. This dude's name is Alex. He was my doubles partner when I played that one round of tennis off camera with the CPU. Seems like a cool dude. Thanks for getting me 5 XP, Alex.
Time out.
They almost definitely speed up for those last 3. It was like 71, 71, 71, and then a 77 out of nowhere. So I was wrong earlier when I said it doesn't get harder as it goes on. But it's not really that the challenge with the last few is hitting them. It's a little more challenging to hit them, but the challenge with all of them is to hit them with that like perfect angle that it gets the 600 or nearby number. So I'm having equal difficulty with most parts of it. So it's not like I have a long time before I get to see those hard ones again. It's all the hard one, even the easy ones. I was doing well to that point, wasn't I? I wasn't looking at the scores, but I had a feeling I was. Let me chair of shame tactic it for a minute.
It's out of the park.
Dang. 646 ain't bad, though. That's the farthest I've ever gotten. Chair of unathletic shame tactic for a bit. I wonder if it's something as silly as if it hits, like, the front railing instead of the back of the bleachers. That's worse.
Home run. Home run. It's out of the park. It's out of the park. It's out of the park. Home run. Home run. Home run.
Right. That was pretty good. I wasn't, again, tracking the numbers, but I think that could have easily been it. Those 3 out of the parks we got in a row.
You earned a platinum medal.
Sweet. That particular picture, for whatever reason, I have an easier time with theirs. I feel like we hadn't seen Matt in like a very long time. We did it! I had to use the chair of unathletic shame. But to a point, it's like, this is another one of those ones where getting the gold is quite fun, and then getting the platinum feels like, this is just gonna be me doing this the whole time for like 5 hours, isn't it? It only, and to be clear, it only took 2 hours 53 this one, but we got the gold at 13 minutes in. And then the latter 2 hours and 40 minutes was just a whole lot of that. So to a point, it's like, doing this over and over, not only is the sort of grander motion gonna confuse the controller a little more than just a simple that I do with one hand, but also I'm gonna tire out, and so the biomechanics of this whole arrangement will change. Which, granted, that's how, like, athletics training works. But in terms of beating this video game, gosh darn it, I gotta pick up the pace. But that last one was particularly good. Those 3 out of the parks in a row were quite instrumental. Good. That's our 5th platinum, right? We got tennis 1, baseball 1, boxing 1 and 2, and then golfing 1. Sweet, only 10 to go. Next video on the channel, if I was right that Kid Icarus last time was the finale, then next video on the channel will be the start of the Stanley Parable. But that is all for now. Happy we got through that. Sorry I had to use the chair of unathletic shame, but I'm not that sorry. I'm starting to think that like half of these will be like, all right, this is a chair-worthy one. So far, I think that is basically my running theme with these. Most of these, I feel like the gold is the most fun to get, and then the platinum's a bit of a slog after that. You kind of have to be like really much better at them than I am if you were to be like on the level of consistently getting a platinum and not just fluking into it like I do by like playing it for 3 hours. But we got it, so we can't be too upset. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I will see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! Come on, this phase be over now? Ah, damn. Hey, well, we got to like the 4th phase on the first try. That's probably good. Didn't even do the funny music for us this time. Oh no, 2 of my biggest pet peeves cooperating. The endless